These are the electromagnetic vehicles. Notice that this thing has axis X, Y, and Z. There's a pair of eyes right there. These are the rings. Look all the vehicles. Tiny, huge, medium. That's Jupiter. Same thing here. Look, that's a crocodile head right there. It's a huge monument. This book is being sold for almost $2,800. I saw it on the internet. In Amazon.com, I saw it for $500 about 2 years ago. It's free right here, slide share. That's the name of the site. He only made few copies. He wrote it. This is really a scientific document. That moon that looks like the Death Star. Look, it has a perfect hexagon and an inner hexagon, and then an inner, it's 3 rings. And almost all the rings are hexagonal. But they make those are eyes, faces, reptilian type faces. This is the Earth Moon. He's playing the Mare Oriental or Eastern Sea, rank among the most spectacular and noteworthy. This lunar feature is not familiar to most Earth inhabitants because of its unfavorable location. Is on the back under side. It's on the far side underneath. Sit astride the western limit of moon visibility from Earth, with only eastern ridges of its huge basin barely exposed to sight. Compound surface scars can be comprehended best by viewing them in a global perspective. As an 8 plate 43% Mare Oriental as portrayed on an official moon globe. The central region consists of 2 concentric near circular ridges stretching bilaterally across the western visibility limit. The outer ridge has a diameter of about 965 kilometers, 600 miles, and the inner ridge has a diameter of about 550 kilometers, 340 miles. These ridges surround a center pit, which breadth is of the order of 240 kilometers, 150 miles. Photographic mosaics of the area reveal that the pit is a deep hole and not a smooth continuum of a broad basin. The floor of the hole is reported to contain patches of dark basaltic material. Additionally, the mosaic show a glazed surface around the eastern periphery, radially disposed markings of rills and ridges occur on the northern and southern sides in the north and south. These radial markings are found within an include angle of about 100 degrees in the east and west. Thought radial markings definitely are absent within the remaining angular area. Instead, different markings prevail. This is how the vehicle made the markings, by melting the surface, and it matches perfectly. See the electromagnetic, the plasma energy apply over it. That's why Armstrong say that the moon smells like burnt gunpowder. Now, if you look at this, look like eyes. They all has a deep pit in the center of the. These are not craters. These are holes, molten holes. That's what this whole thing is. The moon and every single moon and planet. This is a deep ass hole, and it has all these structures around it. This is a terrible picture of whatever this is. But you can see a face right here. Right eye, left eye, and then two eyes, another two eyes that makes another face, a center face, and another two eyes that makes another face. So there's three faces. Within this big face is a smaller one. It's hexagonal too, but it has the same thing, and then it has two smaller faces on each side of this whatever figure is, which look to me reptilian by the pupil. It look like the pupil is like a slit. But like I said, this is a bad picture. This is the vehicle, and that's how it was made. This is how the vehicle shoots a tornado of plasma energy that sprouts at the tip like that, 360 degrees. And then it has this other plasma energy that comes down. He called this a mustache, bulbar region, oblate ellipse. Oh, this is a trip. So that crater was made, it's supposed to be crater, which is now is made by the front of the electromagnetic vehicle, and the bulbous, the globules. These are the plasma globules. He called it pinch plasma, like blue, 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 blue. And he put that color because that's the color that he saw on Monterey Bay, on Pájaros Dunes, when he was vacationing one summer. He took a photograph, and you can see that picture is a shitty quality, but it's because the guys that did the presentation didn't put any effort in amplifying and better the images that he was presenting. Man, that was an incredible presentation. The sound was not good. I mean, the picture were not in the right order. These people, the disclosure project, what a shitty shit they did. Dr. Greer. Dr. Greer looked to me like a freaking a puppet. He looked like a reptilian puppet. And this dude sit next to him doing this weird movement like he's like he's controlling the guy's thoughts. Looks sort of like him too. This is some weird shit about that Dr. Greer and his whatever. He thinks that those orbs, that they appear because you are praying that they show up. Man, this is all reptilian crap. They are surrounded, the whole earth is surrounded by a huge holographic, how do you call that, like a barrier. And they project faces and all kinds of shit, and they can do, I mean, they can manipulate the weather, they can create, they control our minds, or they can do all kinds of stuff. Basically, this planet is a prison, period. Well, now we're talking about how they made the surface of moons and planets. That's how they do it with this electromagnetic vehicle right here. And that's the front, and he's explaining how they leave the marking. It's like they're branding the ground, and then they apply low current that goes as a like resonance, electromagnetic resonance energy from underneath to lift the surface and create the monuments and the every kind of structure that they built. And that's the only way they can do that, because I mean, it's not one single inch that they have spare in any single celestial body in this solar system. I'm talking about the reptilian deal that I was talking about, the eyes, and they're all over the place. Check this out, look at this right here. Pair of eyes. That's a one prime example of what their faces would look like. See the pupil, the vertical pupil? That's how you find it everywhere on the moon and every single moon and planet. That's something that Dr. BERGRUM didn't get to it. I don't know if he knows about that, but the subliminal language that he used for the conference, the Remakers of Saturn conference, and the arrows that he pointed out to where the entities were making the lunar lander, the replica, and they made a fake astronaut too, to the Apollo 12 crew. They showed them that they could imitate anything, and they can. These entities are, I mean, we just don't have a prayer with these people. The only thing maybe is our conscience and call upon the Creator. People call him God, but really God is a Greek word made to represent deities, worshiping deities. But the right name should be the Creator, the ones that create, because everything's created by that amazing mind. And I believe that we are living inside that mind. And it's so many levels, dimensions, whatever you want to call it. And we all vibrate. And that frequency is what these entities use to achieve all the stuff they can achieve. To build solar system, to build craft. I mean, look at the size of that craft. That thing right there. This. That's a cigar shape electromagnetic vehicle. The one that he showed on Saturn's ring when Voyager 2 was approaching. That's how he got interested in that. The rings were missing, a huge gap was in the ring system. And when they pointed at the Voyager 2 cameras, they saw that there was these cylindrical objects at each end of the rings, and they were spewing material, but in an angle. And they have a light source, so that's how he studied the images with a microscope, the original images, which he only showed 2 or 3 of them, bad quality. NASA didn't let him keep any of it. They would never let anyone, and then NASA came up with some, they tried to debunk his findings, and they ended up shutting up. They didn't say anymore. They haven't said since 1989. What they did try to do was poison him, to shut him up, to keep him quiet after the conference. Because he wrote the book, but few people pay attention to it. Well, the people that pay attention are people that was highly intelligent and scientists, that when they read that, they realized what that book was. It was really a scientific paper about how the solar system is being built, was built and is maintained by these electromagnetic vehicles. En Spanish. Esta es la luna, este es el mar oriental, que está en el punto trasero de la luna que no podemos ver, la parte oculta de la luna. Y entonces eso es un vehículo electromagnético que está echando plasma. Esto es un tornado de plasma. Y estos son los glóbulos de plasma por la parte norte. Y esto coincide perfecto con el terreno. Aquí se ven las marcas del frente del vehículo, que es como un cigarro, es como un tubo cilíndrico. Un cilíndrico. Y aquí tiene la parte donde salen las llamaradas de plasma. Aquí se ven los bigotes de plasma saliendo. Imagínense todo the temperature has to be ultra incredible because this is titanium 12%. The banding, the moon banding is mainly titanium. Some kind of titanium alloy. And it was discovered by Joseph Peacekeeper from the Clementine orbiter. From those images from the Clementine orbiter, which they only published 700 pictures out of 2,600,000 images that they took. They mapped the entire moon. And this is a picture of the moon and space, but this is exactly how the Mar Oriental, and if you can read right here how he is playing the whole thing, and he used numbers mainly, numbers, precise numbers, that's how he did it, and then he backed all of that up with pictures from NASA itself. No picture from somebody's telescope, no, from NASA. And he said that's why he left NASA when he realized that NASA was lying through their teeth, that they had 2 sets of data, one for themselves, which is the truth, and the lie for the public. The other thing is that he worked for Lockheed Corporation back then, was Lucky. Now it's Lucky Martin Marietta, Lucky Martin. And they have anti-gravity vehicles, alien reproduction vehicles made by humans, for humans, pilots, or cyborgs. I don't know what they're using, because you have to be super concentrated to be able to pilot a craft that can do many times the speed of light and can go interdimensionally. The guy, what was his name, that died from research, senior research scientist, he talked about all of that to David Zurita. But he said the only reason he talked about, and he showed David Zurita, he showed a picture of an anti-gravity engine that was built in 1959, and you tell me that they went to the moon in a shitty rocket? Nah. And now we're still using freaking rockets. No, that's all a parade of crap. That's all poo-poo. These people had anti-gravity deal since the 60s. But all that front is a front to funnel money from the taxpayer, trillions of dollars, plus drugs and all kinds of bad shit that the CIA and all these people do, bad deals. I mean, this world is being run by a cadre of corrupted, nasty people, a shadow government. And these people are the ones that are keeping this planet in such a poor shape. There's so much poverty and this, I mean, and every poor country, instead of trying to not to have this explosive population, no. The poorer the country, the more kids they have, dumbass idiots. So the only thing that you get more from more is hunger. The more people, the more mouth, the more food you need, the less food there is, so the more hunger there will be. So these people are trying to get rid of the population by poisoning in different ways. They want to reduce the planet population to only 500 million people. Imagine, from 7 billion people to 500 million, that's a lot of dead people. Somehow, one way or another, they're gonna have to get rid of them, because this planet cannot support that many, and the people and the population is expanding at an alarming rate. The point of we went to the brink already in 1985, according to the scientists that discovered the Waverly waves, electromagnetic waves that control human brain through certain frequencies. Well, he said that the planet can be healed, but they don't want to do that. And if he opens his mouth, he'll be dead in a minute. They can kill you with electromagnetic waves, and they can heal you too. But no, they want to cause a calamity. Anyway, that's how the electromagnetic vehicles, which he thinks these are automated, and they replicate themselves. I don't know about that. He said the small ones, they grow with the more material, but I don't think that's the case. I think they get small or big as desired for whatever task at hand. whatever they had to do, they need to multiply to achieve whatever they're gonna do. When the Cassini orbiter went to Enceladus, he recorded all these thousands upon thousands of weird vehicles, weird whatever. There were so many and so strange that it just, wow. But it looked to me like I mean, we are in a situation where we don't know if we are living in a holographic world, that we don't really see the reality, and that's what I think it is. We are being controlled. I mean, the sky is, that blue sky you see is not a sky, it's a crystalline structure. And you don't see the entity because they create a frequency that we cannot see them. But it's possible with using electro-optical devices, infrared, ultraviolet, but it's much more than that. I mean, it's so deep and complicated. They have bases in Mars. I'm very sure that the old presidents, and then you think that Bush Senior and the other, they're gonna die of old age having the technology to renew themselves 30 years back? Shit, no. What that old man George Green says, that they make clones. They call them the others in the Bethesda Naval Hospital. They say that they have replicated all of them, Bill Clinton and all those, Bush, and all, they're living somewhere else in a nice paradise-like place, and the clones are the one looking shitty, and they live down here where the nasties are, the prison planet. So we are really the cattle for the reptilian entities. I mean, that's about the truth. Anyway, this is how they do the deal. This tornadic plasma wave that goes around like that, like a tornado. That's what burns and creates these markings that you see on the moon. All these look like craters. They're not, they're molten shit. And that's what makes this, whatever this is. And the markings look perfectly. And you can see how he compared every single part of the vehicle. Oh, he called that the tongue. The underbody emissions, the body diameter of the, and everything matches perfectly on the surface of the moon. And this is the formative vehicle component. Axial exhaust flame core, axial exhaust outside diameter, body diameter, underbody emission, tongue, nose, peripheral plasma, pinch plasma, nose streamer, nose peripheral plasma, body side emission. In addition to preceding 9 major items of matching surface and body configuration, some minor item also falls into place. For example, random crater formation within any lunar surface area element can arise from spurious electrical current which arc from vehicle to surface. Also, numerous tiny craters can be pierced by branches from constituent strand comprising of larger current. Patches of foreign material can be deposited in various topographical patterns by electrochemical processes. due to presence of an electropotential field. Further intense heat from the actual exhaust core can explain an apparent glazed surface from which surround the central hole. Thus, wide scope consistency prevails concerning formative characteristics of mere Oriental. Broad consistency, such as found here, usually is a mark of correct analysis. So here you go, Iapetus, that's the name of the moon that I thought that was that. Iapetus is black and white, and it's black as asphalt, but it has exact same characteristic as this moon and every other moon. And he showed how they work, and he showed Dione, another moon of Jupiter moon, and Miranda, the moon of Jupiter moon too, and Saturn moon, Dione. Oh, by the way, there is water on the moon, and there is some kind of atmosphere. And Jose Escamilla has a video of a little entity jumping down from the, apparently he was spying on the astronauts while they were inside the vehicle. This entity was recorded by a camera jumping down like a little monkey. I enlarged the image and it looked to me like a little, it looked like a frog. A little frog man. Look like it's a reptilian entity, real small. So he talk about in this book is nobody wants to read anymore. I posted this whole book. I haven't heard a single word from anyone talking about the book. And he gives us a really bad warning about events that are going to happen, that already happened before, like the Tunguska event. And I'm pretty sure that's what he said, that was an electromagnetic vehicle that collided with another one, or something happened and exploded. So now there is a crater about 500 miles from where that epicenter explosion was, and then there is the object found in the Black Sea that it matched perfectly two vehicles. One went and made a crater that is hexagonal in shape, by the way, and is very magnetic. So powerful, whatever is inside that crater, that electronic stuff quit working when they put them on top. The same thing happened in the Black Sea with that object that they found. Nothing electronic works above the object, not even on the surface of the water, 300 meters up. So, I just don't feel like to read all this entire deal, but you have to read this book. See, he talk about the Tunguska, and he talk about all these comets and asteroids being objects that are either ancient ships or still functioning ships that are directed by these entities that control these vehicles. And he gave several examples. Then he talked about a huge ass craft that was recorded by the Solar Orbital Observatory satellite. The object was way over 80 times bigger than Earth, and it was parked on the sun's surface. I found the picture in 1998. No, I'm sorry, 1999, he said. And sure enough, I found the picture. So, captured by the stereo camera. So I've been trying to make this video for a while. It's just that I need a more photographic deal to show the so that's the vehicle, that's the moon. This is the marking that was left by the vehicle on the surface of the moon, and it matches perfectly. The way he's playing how the vehicle operates, it matches totally correct. And it's hexagonal, and that's not an impact crater, but a molten, whatever crater, hole, or surface scarring. And so all of that is precise. None of this deal is made, randomly or whatever. All this deal is made precisely. This entity didn't just go and burn something, and no. All of that is done with a purpose and with precision, very highly precise. I already got to that conclusion long ago, before I read that book, except that I didn't know who the entities were until I found the Moon is Your Worst Nightmare video. And sure enough, that work that R. Peter Nell did applies to every single moon and planet that I have seen from photos of the orbiters. The Cassini, Voyager, blah, 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 whatever. Now look, this is how the electromagnetic work is done. Here is an actual picture of it on that moon, Iapetus. This is how the vehicle, imagine the size of that vehicle. And by the way, it looks like a reptilian entity, a reptile. So I was correct. Look, the two eyes and everything. He just doesn't say it flat out. The vehicle looks like two. Let me see if I can make this smaller enough to. There they are, the mosaic of all the objects around Iapetus. And you can see these enormous faces. They look like dinosaur faces, reptilian faces, and eyes. And you can see all the energy, electromagnetic energy applied to that moon. And this right here on this side, this is one of the vehicles. Look how immense that thing is. And this is the toroid deal. That's how they did the Iapetus mystery unravel. He described, and everything falls in place, exactly how it was done and where to find all of the. He did the scientific deal. That's the vehicle right there, or vehicles, more than one. And they all can hook to each other, they latch to each other. So look at this. This is one vehicle, the vertical tube is another one, and there is these two other ones, three other ones, right here, this, and then you have this one, and there is this enormous tube right here applying plasma. So this one, but all of them has reptilian faces on it. That's what they are. You just look at that picture. Look at that reptilian face right there. See the vertical pupil, the V-shaped face. There's a face right here, two eyes, goes down this way, and there's two eyes here, and two eyes here, two eyes here, two here, two here. I mean, it's like a nightmare. And there is this one right here. Imagine, he had to do this drawing because of the picture. They wouldn't let him take the picture out. And look how the pinch plasma goes over from this vehicle that is right here. This is what he's describing. The number 2 is applying electromagnetic plasma And then you see this white arrow here and here, and that's where the black deal is, the burned part like asphalt. But now I know he knows these are reptilian entities because look at their faces, they look like dinosaurs. And you cannot paint that kind of faces. I'm not sure if this is a picture or just a drawing or a drawing over a picture. But it just got too much detail to be just a drawing. No. I mean, you can look at the vehicle, how strange they look. I mean, you have to have a hell of a photographic memory to do this thing. And look at this reptile head like a snake with the eyes and everything. I mean, if you see this, you go to the same conclusion. These are reptilians. And he knows it. Now I know that he knows it. There's this devil-looking face right here, too, in the middle of the vehicle. And that goes exactly with what I have seen and what Ron Stewart say, that they do pictograph on top of the surface of their ships to show who they are. So there will be no confusion with anyone. Look at that. Demonic looking faces on top of the skin of the vehicle. That thing is like a totem pole. Faces carved from the top to the bottom and from side to side. I mean, this is one hell of a picture, or a drawing, if you want to call it like that, but I don't think it's just a drawing. I think he had to paint it like that, because that, from memory, I doubt, I don't know, he has a hell of a memory. Just to give you an idea, look at this face right here. I mean, there is no other shit, that's a face. There's no other, eso es una cara. There's another one down here. What is it at? Look, pair of eyes. Then there is another one, look. So it's not that he's making this up. This is what it is. So now I know that he knows. He just didn't go out loud and say it because people just a peacekeeper doesn't want, he quit talking to me when I told him that. That's how hard to swallow this is. That's how difficult for people to understand that that's what this is. And what David Icke say is true, it's just that David Icke doesn't know shit. He cannot explain this deal the way Dr. BERGRUM is, or I am, because I've seen thousands upon thousands of pictures. It's all in observing. If you get, you see one or two or three times, well, that might be a coincidence. But shit, you see it 300, 500, 1,000 times, that's not a coincidence, that's what that is. The same reptile eyes everywhere, and this is nasty looking dinosaur faces, angry looking. Look at this snake right there. Green and everything. Where that white arrow is. And then look at this thing right here. It looks like a freaking reptile too right there. Look at that. Pair of eyes. and another face right there. I mean, you don't make things up like that, being a scientist with so many titles. Look at the size of that vehicle. The moon looked tiny next to that thing. And that's how the Earth's moon was made to. Look at this demonic looking thing right there. Got two eyes here, and two eyes here, and two eyes there. Oh, this is a total freaking mess. That orange thing is the plasma energy. I mean, this is insane, but it's what it is. Iapetus. And that's the big hexagonal hole the Iapetus has on one side. And that, by the way, Iapetus has a ridge that is 20 miles high. It's about 3 times taller than the Everest. Imagine a freaking moon that is not even a quarter of Earth. But it has a ridge 3 times bigger than the tallest mountain on Earth. Wow. And look, he made a drawing of some other electromagnetic vehicles right there. I mean, the amount of detail that is here is just incredible. This is the moon, Iapetus. And the moon has phases on the black surface, which is the dark part of it. That's amazing, man. Tu is the tongue, la lengua. Look on the streamers. They look like tornadoes of plasma energy. Vehicle body 3. Vehicle body is all of this. One gigantic ass vehicle. And look at the top of it, all these other objects coming off of it. And number 1, streamline flow. Oh, this is the flow. And look, there is a pair of reptile eyes right here, with another pair of ghostly looking. So what he's painting is, this is essentially what he saw in a photograph from Voyager. Illustration of Iapetus constrained by the electropotential field of an electromagnetic vehicle as rendered from plates 38 and 39. And he's playing here. Now the whole deal went down. A vehicle mechanism for moving the satellite nevertheless does exist. He's telling you that they move the moons with those vehicles. Damn. Well, it would make sense having an enormous vehicle with that kind of technology would be stupid enough to think about. Forty-two will leave diverse surface scar when the field disappears. The tongue, for example, will leave a long broad depression with spidery edges. So he's explaining the surface of Iapetus, how it was made and how it looks now after the whole thing was done. And why it does look like asphalt. It's burnt. And on top of that, it's so burnt that it had no reflectivity. The material became non-reflective. The light doesn't bounce from it. It's like charcoal. You can even tell what the features are in that black deal, unless you study a close-up image of it in an angle. And so he did. He had access to all those pictures from Apollo 12. Nobody else had them. No one else. They don't even have numbers. I mean that there are images that are no catalog. Those are like close guarded. And then NASA never say nothing. They don't tell you nothing. Will never tell you anything. Because, I mean, it's so deep. But I know that's what the truth is. We are in a freaking prison planet controlled by reptilian entities, and everything else moves except us. And the NASA assets that had the secret space program that made a deal with the devil, practically. Yeah, we'll let you glimpse at a bigger picture. And then he goes on to explain everything else. What will happen on Earth, all the situation, how this vehicle create major hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes. But from the picture I just saw today, from the Interstellar movie that Jose Escamilla made from the images recorded by Leonard Walson, John Leonard Walson. Oh my God. There is this gigantic gas sphere or saucer, whatever, almost half the size of Earth, parked right next to Earth, and a huge ass structure. I mean, it is so big and massive, don't even fit in the picture. And then you see the space station like a tiny toy next to that. And Jose Escamilla didn't even mention it. So what the hell does he know? Nothing. He only saw the space station. He didn't say nothing about the rest of it. That sounds terrible. And I see that on the other big, so-called big investigator. That, oh, there is this in Mars, there is that. Well, asshole, talk about this. This is what's doing all of that. This is what's controlling us, creating wars and feeding off our bad energy. Suffering and cheer, all of that is produced on purpose for those entities to feed off of the vampires, emotional vampires. Because that's all they are. They hate us. Nobody's gonna come and rescue us. It show other moons how they were done the same way. This is Iapetus. The other one was that. Check it out. Oh, that's what that was. That picture you just saw, that drawing is this picture right here. But I see much more stuff in this picture than in that drawing. But I had to make it like that because you can tell much about this picture, the way it is in how do you call that, in strips of photo. But he did a fairly good drawing representation because that's almost exactly like what he did, the drawing he made down here. This drawing is this picture. See number 2, look at the hexagonal deal. Look at the moon, look at the eyes. Wow, that's amazing. But people don't understand any of it. See, look at the reptilian faces, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the chin, and then these tubes that connect with another one down here that has some kind of spikes. The same thing, the tornadic, insane deal, man. Look at that, that's the electromagnetic vehicle that looks like a totem pole, car with faces everywhere. Look at that. And it has other vehicles attached to it. Goes the tongue, and look, another entity's face, eyebrow, the eye, there's the other eye, the eyebrows, that's another eye right there, and another eye. So this is 2 eyes, this is 2 eyes, I'm sorry, down here, there's 2 eyes this way. Wow. And they look all the luminous sources. So there's another eyes, pairs of eyes, I'm sorry. And look the way they're shaped, their bodies. we got electromagnetic material being deposited and burned at the same time. Well, I gotta get a better view for this deal. This is not gonna cut it for me.